Hi 10th grade, so I wanted to take you through a brief review on how to solve for variables using algebraic equations. This should be a review for most of y'all, but we will be using this a lot this week and the next when we discuss density and stoichiometry. So I want y'all to have a really strong background in this. Here I've got an equation, 10 equals x divided by 2. I want to solve for x, so I need to get x by itself. Right now, x is linked to that 2. It's being divided by 2. They're connected. And I want to get x by itself. So if x is being divided by 2, what can I do to that side of the equation to get rid of the 2? That's right, I can multiply. So whatever's happening, I need to do the opposite to get rid of that number. So if x is being divided by 2, I need to multiply by 2 to get x by itself. So I'm going to put a dot and a 2. In our class, this dot always means multiplication. So whenever you see a dot like that, it means I'm multiplying. If I used an x to stand for multiplication, I've got an x up here, and those two x's would get really confusing. So I use x for my variable and dot to mean multiply. When I'm solving these types of equations, whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. So I'm going to multiply the left-hand side by 2 as well. Now when I solve this, I have 2 times 10, that gives me 20, equals, and if I look at the right-hand side of my equation, I've got a 2 on the top, and I've got a 2 on the bottom. So these 2's are actually going to cancel, and I'm going to be left with x. So x equals 20. Let me take you through one more example problem, because sometimes things can get a little bit tricky. What if instead of x being on the top, x was on the bottom? So I'm going to set up a similar equation, 10 equals 2 divided by x. I still need to get rid of x, but I've got to get x out of the bottom. I've got to stop it from dividing 2. I'm going to use the same pattern that I did up here. If something is dividing the top number, I get rid of it through multiplication. So I'm going to multiply this side by x. I'm going to treat the letter just like a number, and I'm going to apply my math rules. Whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to do to the other. So I'm going to multiply this side by x as well. I'm going to simplify. 10 times x is just 10x. I keep the variable and I link it to that number. When I look at the other side, I've got an x on the side and an x on the bottom. These are going to cancel. And I'm going to be left with 2. Well, I'm not done yet because I want to get x by itself. And right now it's still stuck to that 10. It's being multiplied by 10. So if x is being multiplied, what's the opposite of multiplication so I can get rid of that 10? Yeah, division. I need to divide this. So I'm going to divide this side by 10. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I'm going to divide the other side by 10 too. When I look at this, my 10 on the top and my 10 on the bottom are the same, so they're going to cancel. And I'm going to be left with x. And because it is late in the afternoon and I don't want to do mental math, I'm going to pull out my phone calculator. And I'm going to type in 2 divided by 10 equals, and it gives me 0.2. So x is 0.2. To double check my work, to make sure that this is right, I can plug it back into my formula. So I'm going to write my formula down on the bottom. 10 equals 2 divided by x. What if I put 0.2 in place of x? So I'm going to write 10 equals 2 divided by 0.2. And I'm going to plug that into my calculator. So what's 2 divided by 0.2? And it tells me that it's 10. So 10 is equal to 10. This is true, which means this number is correct. X is 0.2. So that is the brief basics on how to solve for variables using algebraic equations. We will use this exact same pattern to solve for density. So remember these math tricks when we look at the equations for density in a few minutes.